Still, we are all on our mission because difficult times don't last. We do. I want to share a real-time story. There is a teenage boy. He's fighting with stage 4 cancer on the hospital bed. Doctor gave just 14 days of time to live. If I am in his position, immediately I will change WhatsApp status and Facebook status and waiting for your messages to send off me. But that boy is unshakable. He decided to fight against the cancer. He went through so many surgeries, chemotherapies. Even he lost one of his lung. But those difficult situations again can't last more. It's not just once. He diagnosed 2 times from the critical cancer. It is almost his dead end stage. But after 17 years, he reached top of the world. He is the one of the cancer survival who reached the highest peaks in all 7 continents in the world. And not just that, he's an inspirational speaker, author, and adventurous. That person, he voted is one of the best in the history. He is none other than Saint Swanner. Not just that. He has so many other international level achievements also. But friends, now my tough you are. Little more tougher and stronger. There is a research behind this. If you write down what makes you tougher, this exercise triggers a new thought process that might result in a powerful place for you. If you are comfortable as a timer, take a tabletop master. Next TMOD, next division stage, district stage. Whatever challenge we face today, we have to be strong. See things through a new lens. Take a critical action with a new direction, can move through it successfully. But only tough people do. I know all BMTC members are tough because they decided long back to stand in front of 100 people. And there is a tough personality I am going to introduce. He found young people are so talented, but they are not able to project their ideas in front of the audience. And he decided to start a club in 1905. He is none other than our Guru Rausis Medley. He went through very tough times and he could run that club. Did you think he could run? No. He miserably failed. Friends, those are all times and it won't last. But he does. Again, he came back in 1924. He started first club. That's it. From that day, clubs are mushroomed across the globe. It became 16,800 clubs in 43 countries with 3.6 lakh members. Over 96 years of experience, this meeting structure so fine-tuned, and today meeting contains 3 segments. First one is prepared speeches, where members are prepared with respect to certain objects and an evaluator will share his evaluation. Second one is table topics. This is fun and exciting session. Wait and see. And third one is a general evaluation section. This one, there is a team called general led by general evaluator, and The complete meeting will be evaluated by this particular person. Today, we have a special person called uh, Toastmaster Pradeep Kumar from IMB Orator. He is a ISC district champion 2 times, founder and past president of IMB. I asked his opinion on today's theme. He said in one line, life sometimes throws a scary situations, but little bit of adventures make you stronger and greater. Thank you, Pradeep, for such a rousing words. Put your hands together for Pradeep. Move on. There is a team supported to our general evaluator called tag team. Today, Toastmaster Maitresh, please share your guidelines of timer.
Good evening, everyone. As a timer, my role is to make sure all the speakers speak on time. There are two types of speeches that will be done. One speech is of 5 to 7 minutes, and the other speech is of 3 to 4 minutes. For 5 minutes, I'll be making a sound like this, and for 6 minutes, I'll be making a sound like this, and for 7 minutes, I'll be making a sound. And in form of timer, it will be for 2 minutes. For table topics, it will be for 2 minutes. So it will be from 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, and I'll ring the bell in the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maitresh. Now, I would like to request accountant Rajesh, please share your importance in this meeting.
Hello. Hello, fellow Toastmaster.
Yes, Maitresh.
Yes, Rajesh.
Today I will be listening to any short or long pause, any clutch or filler words like a, but, etc. And then, so that is very important to avoid these words in the speech. I will be noting them down, and then I will present my report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Rajesh. Now, I would like to request our beloved well-wisher, Toastmaster Robinson sir, to share the grammarian role importance.
Good evening, Srini Babu and fellow Toastmasters. My role today is the most prominent role. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility listening carefully to their language usage. I will take note of any misuse, outstanding uses, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also today's meeting. The word of the day is accost. It means approach. In spite of the devastation caused by the situation, and has been spectacularly arranging the online meetings. You have been creating history. The president said, for the first time, an online induction was done. Not only that, you have created yet another history. To my knowledge, in this club for the last 23 years, this is for the first time a meeting was held on a Good Friday. I am sure this trend will continue forever. I request every speaker to use the word of the day. I'll provide my report when called upon during the meeting. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. My dear members and guests, now stage is set. Let's jump into the first segment of today's meeting, prepared speeches. Now, I would like to request evaluator, our table topics champ, Toastmaster Alok, please read out the guidelines for the first speaker.
Thanks, Toastmaster Shinu. The speaker is attempting a project in Dynamic Leadership Level 2, Project 1, and the purpose of the speech is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership styles and to also share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. The time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster Shinu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alok. Next speaker is a mission which produces products like doctors, engineers, scientists, and leaders. I mean, she's a teacher. She runs a school. She's a dancer and a traveler. Recently, she planned a trip to Italy, but cancelled because of COVID. And tough times won't last. Let's wish her a wonderful trips in future and put your hands together to the next speaker, Toastmaster Dolly. Like a boss, Toastmaster Dolly. Over to you, Dolly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes, you
Yes,
are.
yes, yes, you're
Yes.
audible.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just give me one moment.
Yes, Dolly, go on. You're audible. Go on.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So, how many of you were leaders in your school or college days? For those of you who were, do you realize that your leadership styles has changed over the years as you grew up? I definitely have felt so. Different age groups have different leadership styles. However, it all falls down to the personal qualities of an individual. We need to train ourselves to be effective leaders. For that, we need to learn and unlearn ourselves. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Over the years, I have greatly admired and looked up to a few people's leadership styles. I am an educator. My job requires me to lead by example. I try to embody their ideologies whenever possible. Today, I will be sharing with you 4 such examples. I ask you to believe not just in my ability to bring about real change in Washington. I ask you to believe in yours. These were said by Barack Obama in his presidential campaign speech. After hearing these words, I was mesmerized. I realized 3 things. He made people feel important. He conveyed his goal very clearly. And most importantly, he persuaded them by making them feel confident that they can make the change. I always keep this in mind. And I tell my students repeatedly how important they are to us and our community. I tell them to imagine a train sound and recite, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, in that speed, and try to get their curricular or extracurricular activities done. It is better to lead from behind and put others in front, especially to celebrate victory when nice things occur. You take the front when there is danger. Then people will appreciate your leadership. These words were said by Nelson Mandela. He tells us when to lead from the front and when from the back. In World War I, General Georges Patton led his troops by leading in front of the tanks despite the risks of being easily shot by his enemies. Our parents, elder siblings, or even our beloved Toastmasters guide us from the back by giving us constructive feedbacks, letting us go ahead. They celebrate our victory and they praise us in public. They correct us in private. For this, let us not include our parents, because my parents always say all my embarrassing stories in public. They yell at me in public, they correct me in public, everything they do in public, and there's complete silence in private. But I look up to my ex-boss, Manish. Working in a 5-star hotel, a smallest, silliest complaint by a guest is a big deal. One day, a guest complained about my colleague when she committed a huge blunder. The way Manish stood and answered the guests, the GM, defended her in public, made me respect him the most. I have a student in class 6, Afreen. She was very different this year. She acted like her classmates were strangers. She never took part in her group activities. She thought that everyone around her were really bad. One day I got a chance to speak to her. I explained to her how the world is. I made her understand how to adapt to changes, how to accept people. But the following 2 days, she was absent. I was a little upset. I felt that I let her down. When she came back on the 3rd day, she was a little different. She apologized to her classmates. She started involving herself in group activities. She was completely different in a very good way. Progress is often equivalent to the difference between the mind and the heart, by Narayan Murthy. His word, I am influenced by Narayan Murthy and he is influenced by Mahatma Gandhi, who walked the talk. Murthy says that he wants to be a doer and he respects people who do things rather than just talk. I'm sure most of us know the couple's lifestyle. They have a simple living and a high thinking lifestyle. The couple always come to my mind every time I go shopping. Sometimes I regret watching the interview, but when I see my wallet, I am really glad. So, dear Toastmasters, always remember that a leader must have certain personal, emotional, and social qualities to lead a very stress-free life. Remember the 4 points, that is, leadership isn't about the leader, but the followers, by Barack Obama. Know when to lead from the front and when to support from the back, Nelson Mandela. Praise in public, correct in private, like Manish. Simple living, high thinking, Narayan Murthy. Keep these 4 points in mind and implement them whenever you are at crossroads when you have to make a leadership decision. And trust me, it will make a difference because I know the impact that this has made in my life. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Srinu, you have to on the mic.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Dolly, for a fantabulous speech and invoked our leadership styles. Let's move on. Second speech. Now I would like to request speech evaluator, our awesome Toastmaster, Abhay Kotari. Please read out the guidelines.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Like the first speaker, this speaker is also on the dynamic leadership pathway and is attempting a project called Research and Presenting in Level 1. The purpose statement of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Time manager, please note time is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Abhay. Next speaker, attempting L1P3. He is a marathon runner, finance head of renewal company. Recently, he became very active. I could see different roles. Now, not only in our club, I saw him, he's helping a newly forming club with a different roles. Let's put your hands together to the next speaker, Toastmaster Mahesh Shankar. A desire, a dream, a vision must be stronger than the skill. A desire, a dream, a vision must be stronger than the skill. Toastmaster Mahesh Shankar. Over to you, Mahesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I hope everyone can listen to me.
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes.
Thank you. I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live rest of your life as a champion. Muhammad Ali. And doesn't this go well with the theme? Tough time never lasts, but tough people do. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. A warm welcome to one and all. Let me share some interesting facts. Bodybuilding.com in their survey finds 73% give up their fitness goal. And some of the top reasons being not following the diet, getting back on track after they take a break, and hard to find time. Even the top 3 trends in 2020 as survey done by ACSM, which is America College of Sports Medicine, talks about wearable technology, high intensity interval training, and group training. Of course, we do see yoga as well. Moving on, WHO says non-communicable disease, also called as NCDs, like hypertension, heart failure, stroke, diabetes, are due to insufficient physical training. And 80% of the young adults fall in this. Imagine the seriousness we are in. On the right side, you would see the survey done by FitScore jointly by Reebok and Economic Times. It talks about the south cities of India are at the bottom. Just imagine we all are in these cities. And very interestingly, I will share the BTMC survey result. I took a sample of 35 and luckily I got 30% response, which is better than the world survey response of around average 11%. And from this, it's no different than what the other surveys talks about. 70% new with what they keep that as an action item. 25% still feel they are good. Largely 42% they believe either in walking, jogging or running. 68% leave their action primarily because either they are fast asleep, they are lazy, or it's due to procrastination. It's no different than the world survey. 50% have 7 days of sleep. We definitely need to improve on this. And thankfully, 70% feel the need for motivation, coach, or a mentor. And that's what I'm going to take you to the next step. First, let's look at how do we really do. We need to have a goal. We all agree, right? And only when you have a goal with a vision, one way to do it is to write somewhere in bold letters, keep it in front of you so you can keep seeing it. It can be in a computer screen, it can be in your mobile screen. I had a unique way. I had a very big mirror. Of course, I don't use that. But what I've done here is I've written on top of it my goal. And every time whenever I pass out from this room, I keep looking at my goal and I memorize it. It has worked for me. The second thing is mentor and coach. And of course, a lot of people have also commented they need a mentor and coach. This definitely helps us to push if we are lagging behind. And in my case, I've joined the running club. It has helped me a lot. The third thing is about working in a group. And didn't I say that as part of ACSM, group activity is among the top 3 trends? Yes. Working in a group helps us each one to push. If we are falling apart, then they will motivate us, they will drag us. In my case, my friend accosted multiple times whenever I felt low or I said, no, I want to give it a dry run. I don't want to really run. They really pushed me and I didn't leave it behind. And one of the most important thing is about waking up early in the morning. It's so difficult. I know, I also went through the same. I can suggest a couple of things, like the way I do. I have my wearable technology where I put an alarm. Even on my mobile, I put an alarm, but I keep the mobile far apart so that my hand doesn't reach. So anytime I can't put it to snooze. So I have no choice to wake up. Yes, but my wife is so used to it, now she doesn't wake up. Initially, she was cribbing, she was cursing me. Immediately, as soon as you wake up, having a green tea wakens your mind, and then you're fresh to go get started. Last, what I'm really talking about, only 3 to 4 days in a week. WHO talks about anywhere between 150 to 300 hours is a good training. And we can definitely do it anywhere between half an hour to an hour. And still you get between 3 to 4 days where you can take more time on bed. This is on how to do it. So I'm sure like you all would have also felt that this is achievable. Now let's go to why do we really need it? It's important, right? Any kind of fitness is very important. Why do we need it? First, it improves your health. I can share my own example. Every year I used to take health checkup and my health was not really that great. I had a lot of pounds. But then over a 2-year period, my health card improved. I lost almost 15% of my weight. Coming to the next, initially I used to be very tired, fatigued. I was not motivated. By the time I go to work, I'm so exhausted. Over a period when I trained myself as a runner, my endurance improved and my muscle strength as well. And today I see the difference. The state of my mind and my physical body, what's there in the morning is same. It exists the same in the evening. And I get a very good sleep. I feel to go to bed by 9:30. That's why I rush out from BMTC BTMC immediately after the meeting. The third thing, it also helps in reducing the depression. I went to depression few years back and I started running. I didn't realize that it reduced to very minimal and now it's not there. I did a research and what did I find out? Many runners, many physical activities, whoever have done it, they have seen a drastic change. The endorphins boost their brain and their mood. This is basically a good for anti-depression. And of course, tranquility means reduction in stress, isn't it? The last, one becomes very positive, energetic, creative, and one can focus in life. Like as I said, will must be stronger than the skill. That's why you need to have a desire, a dream, and a vision. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Mahesh. Such a insightful tips.
Okay,
Certainly,
2-3 minutes.
Sorry.
Shrinu, go on, Shrinu.
Yeah.
Request everybody to please mute yourselves if you all are not talking.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mahesh. Such a insightful tips, and definitely it will make us up and running. And I agree with you. Group activity is the best option to achieve anything. Toastmaster is the best example in all history. And let's move on to the third page. I would like to request speech evaluator guidelines. Sudipta?
Hi, good evening, everyone. The speaker is attempting project 7 from the basic competent communicators manual. The speech is about researching your topic and the guidelines are as follows. Collect information about your topic from numerous sources. Carefully support your points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations gathered through research. Time manager, this is a 5 to 7 minute speech. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sudipta. A dashing personality. He's a past club officer. He enthralled audience with Telugu songs during his speeches. Especially, I enjoyed it a lot. Let's see what's there in today's speech. Put your hands together to welcome with a thunder of applause to Toastmaster Guru Cashew Healthy Snack Master Guru Prasad. What do you do?
Thank you, Srinu, for the introduction. You're able to hear, right? Super.
Yes.
From the words of Rosie Liddell, I just want to remember a poem to start the presentation. The cashew nut is a beautiful thing, and I must confess, to me, is a king. Petite and tasty and luscious too, I do attest as I lovingly chew. A single discreet handful from the pack, I happily nibble as a snack. But one handful is never enough. To resist eating more is rather tough. Those cashew nuts I totally adore. My difficulty, I lust for more. Bags of plain, teasingly salted, roasted honey, so highly exalted. As I digest, the greater the sour. I can't resist the love, the flower. Thus, I am powerless to rebut. I'm a wholesale cashew nut. Good evening, President, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guests. Let me share my presentation. Can I share? 1 minute.
Guru, try going to mode, the 3 dots on the top right side, and minimize meeting. Then you should see an option to share your screen.
Yeah. I think now.
We still don't see your screen, by the way.
How is it?
There you go. All set.
Got it,
Thank
Guru.
you.
Got it. Great.
Now we can.
Cashew nuts, the king of nuts. I have an emotional bonding with this cashew nuts. If you look at here, this is how it is grown in the fields. And for cashew nuts, to grow cashew nuts, you don't require much of the water resources. If you see, there are varieties of kernels which has been extracted from the cashew nuts. Predominantly there are 2 ways of extracting cashews from the cashew kernels from the cashew nut. One is a boiling method. The other one is a roasting method. Boiling method, you get more productivity. The roasting method, you don't get comparatively the higher productivity as boiling method. Cashew is a healthy snack. As we know that today's scenario, everybody is insisting having junk food. Even the children, school-going children are having samosa, burgers, pizzas and all. Instead of that, they can have cashews. It's a healthy snack for them. Cashews are useful in medicine, and also it's in, like, especially in Goa, we get a drink by the name Feni. Cashews, we can have multiple varieties of dishes. Let us not talk about Chinese. We all are frustrated about it. Let us talk more on Indian dishes. This could be one of the delicious dishes, which is my all-time favorites for me. You can look at brinjal with cashew, cashew pakoda, and drumstick with cashew. These are the cashews, the honey burfis made up of cashew nuts, varieties of burfis with dry fruits, which is more apt for children, like, you know, which will build the immune system in their body, which will help us to, like, even to attack COVID-19 as well. If the immune system is better, we can attack on that. These are the sweets which is made up of cashew. Cashew Katli is one of the Bangalore's favorite. For me, the last one, this is the one. It's a favorite for me. Cashew chakli. Cashews been introduced. Actually, we all thought that cashews is from India. It is not from India. This is actually originated from Brazil and introduced by Portuguese to India, where they started in Goa. That might be the reason that we have the crop from Goa to the south. Over the years, cashew has become a more export commodity, and we export to more than 60 countries. Our major markets, as you know, Japan, US, Spain, France, all developed countries, including Middle East countries. Coming to the facts and figures, we cultivate cashew close to around about 11 lakh hectares in India, and we get an output of 8 lakh metric tons. We are the #1 producer for cashew output in the globe. We export around about 1.2 lakh metric tons of cashew from India. We employ close to 3 lakh people in India. If you look at even our Toastmaster of the day, Srini Babu is from a place where we have so many cashew industries, where around about 200 cashew units are there, where they get huge employment for cashew. In India, if you look at we see major markets in Kerala, in Koilan, where we and Goa to get varieties of products in cashew. Cashew nut has a rich in proteins. It is good for heart. Eating 4 cashews in a day will give you a lot of benefits. It doesn't contain any cholesterol. It is a very rich in vitamin B, and it also helps the immune system for the people. That is more important in today's scenario. And it has got to do with, it had got rich in B vitamin. Cashew fruit, it's more about C vitamin, because we are talking about cashew kernel. It also has a very good medicinal values. It reduces diabetes, then high blood pressure, lowers, prevents cancer, many other things. If you look at the vitamins propositions in cashew, cashew has got 37% vitamin B1 and 36% of vitamin B6. And also it has got little amount of vitamin E. And when you look at the energy composition of cashew, we get, for every 100 grams, there is 553 calories of energy. It has more proteins, fat, and carbohydrates. If you look at the crop-wise output in India, Maharashtra is leading in cashew crop. We have got 33% of the crop coming from Maharashtra. And we all from Karnataka, so we always look at what would be the cashew output in India. Karnataka output is around about 11%. this is the stats which show about the country-wide numbers, the state-wise, Kerala, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu. All this data I've collected from the Cashew board to have an understanding. Overall, we have a productivity of 8 lakh metric tons. And this is the global wise, apart from India, India is having around about 25% of the production. Apart from India, it is the worldwide cashew, worldwide countries who are producing the cashew. Mostly the cashew is produced in West African, South Asian, South American countries. Conclusion, for farming, cashew doesn't require much of the water resources. So for if people are interested, because as we all know that we are all depending on foreign countries for employment and all. Still in India, there is a lot of opportunities. We can grow cashew nut. It's a rich crop. The second one is a foreign trade. Most of the time we import cashew nuts from the African countries, and we process in India, and then we'll export to US countries and all. So there is a huge potential for a foreign trader. People like Santosh and all who are interested in foreign trade, they can still look at importing cashew nuts and processing it in India and again sell to foreign markets. Then coming to the domestic market, there is a huge demand for value-added products. As we are all eating snacks which are doesn't have any proteins and carbohydrates, I suggest people should eat cashews instead of that. And in this current scenarios for the children's and the immunity plays a major role. They require a lot of vitamins, everything, and cashews is one thing which helps the immunity in the system. I feel that if we do a snacks, say burfis, sweets, there is a huge market in India, as we have 130 million people in India, and today we have a lot of machinery which can be automated and do automated processing for the market. And I feel there is a huge market for domestic market for cashew nuts. Dining, as I said, we can make a variety of dishes, including from vegetarian to the non-vegetarian, everything, even from the starters to biryanis. We can use cashews in different formats. As I said, my favorite dishes are brinjal cashew curry and drumstick with cashew curries and all. And also we can have a lot of side dishes when people are relaxing, and at the same time we can have varieties of sweets, burfis. Then we can also have ice creams with cashew nuts and everything, rich in nuts, which will, one way we enjoy the food, the other way we intake varieties of vitamins on that. Snacks, anyhow, it's a protein rich, healthy. So I suggest cashew is a protein rich, healthy, and this tough times we have to build our immune system. To build our immune system, we have to have a good nuts, and cashew is a rich nut, and for me it is a king of nuts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Only about till now I know only how to eat cashew, but today you shared some insightful metrics about cashew, and I enjoyed a lot in cashew fields, especially in summer. I could recall those memories. Thanks once again. Let's move on to the next page. Now, I would like to request next speech evaluator, our DTM Ashish Varghese, to read out the guidelines.
Thank you, Srinu. Our next speaker is going to be attempting a project from Advanced Communication Bronze Manual, Special Occasion Speeches Manual, and she is attending project 4, which is presenting an award. Here, the speaker is going to be paying a tribute to the recipient, explaining his or her dedication and sacrifice and the contribution on why the person is receiving the award. The objective involves presenting an award with dignity and grace, acknowledge the contribution of the recipient. Timer, please note the speech is for 3 to 4 minutes. Time is for 3 to 4 minutes, Maitresh. Over to you, Srinu.
Thank you, Ashish. The next speaker is, she's an all-time inspiration for me. After I saw her, I removed my age from my mind. Ideally, if you ask any Toastmaster, mostly they are very helpful, and she's even more helpful, and she's ready for taking any roles. And she went one more step further, and she given an amazing leader, our President Deepika Das, to our club. I asked her recent tough times. Then she responded, giving my first online speech, I feeling like more than our lockdown situation, feeling difficult more than our lockdown situation. No doubt, madam, you are going to do a wonderful job. Put your hands together. To next speaker, Toastmaster Rita Das. 1979, the Nobel Prizes. 1979, the Nobel Prizes, Toastmaster Rita Das. Over to you, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Say something again.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
You're audible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We can hear you. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Nobel Peace Prize is one of the 5 Nobel Prizes established in the year 1901 by the Swedish chemist, industrialist, inventor, engineer Alfred Nobel, along with the prizes in chemistry, physics, medicine, and literature. This year, the Nobel Peace Prize winner is a revered lady, chosen by the Norwegian Nobel Committee, which is made up of 5 members appointed by the Norwegian Parliament. It is my pleasure and privilege to confer and present this award to none other than the great Mother Teresa for her work undertaken in the struggle to overcome poverty in the distress which also constitutes a threat to peace. Mother Teresa was born in 1910. She left her home at the age of 18 to join the Sisters of Loreto in Ireland. 6 weeks later, she was transferred to Calcutta, India. She worked in the same convent for 15 years as a teacher. She was deeply agonized to see the poor and destitute suffering. So she left the convent and adopted the lifestyle of the slums of Calcutta with the sole aim of serving the poor. In 1950, she founded the Missionaries of Charity in Calcutta, a religious congregation dedicated to serving the hungry, naked, homeless, crippled, blind, lepers, and all those who were shunned by society and were made to feel unwanted. She bowed down before those who were abandoned and left to die on the streets, seeing in them God-given dignity. She believed that the poor people are very great and wonderful people, and they can teach us so many beautiful things. She made her voice heard before the powers of this world so that they might recognize their guilt in the crime of poverty created in the world. She used to go out and pick up people from the streets of Calcutta, even though they were in their last stages of life. There would be blood oozing from their bodies, and some would have worms and maggots wriggling out of their bodies. But she did not care. she would pick them up, clean them, and fulfill their last dying wish, so that they would have a smile on their face when they died. Ladies and gentlemen, an Indian by citizenship and a Catholic by religion is a person par excellence. By religion, is the greatest humanitarian of the 20th century. Let's step for the next winner for the year 1991. Forward.
Toastmaster Rita, we lost the last part of your speech. Your network went off.
Deepika, is it possible we can ask her to repeat the last part of her speech?
Sure. Toastmaster Rita?
She's still offline.
I think network issue, I guess.
Yeah, looks like she lost the signal.
Deepika, let's continue.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
yes,
proceed.
yes, yeah.
If the network comes back, then we can try later on once.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's proceed. Okay, that was very eye-opener speech. Thank you, ma'am. Such a wonderful and fabulous speech. Now, we are done with the first segment of today's meeting. Let's.
Can you see me?
Rita, we can see you.
So,
I'm here. I can see.
yeah, yes, ma'am.
Can you
We can
repeat your
hear-
speech?
No, you can come.
Not repeat the
Not
speech.
repeat. Yeah, yeah.
Repeat the last paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah, last
Yeah, but-
1 minute. One
Yeah,
and a half
can you
minute.
turn your video on also? We can't see you.
I can see her.
You can see her. Okay, then
put on
only
my
I
video.
can. Okay.
Yes, go ahead, ma'am, actually. Yes.
Yeah, just only the last paragraph.
Yeah, she was a lady of par excellence. From there, you can start.
Okay, I'll start. Ladies and gentlemen, Mother Teresa, an Albanian by birth, an Indian citizen, and an Indian citizen and a Catholic by religion, is a person par excellence and the greatest humanitarian of the 20th century. Let us put our hands together for the Nobel Prize winner for the year 1979, the one, the only, Mother Teresa.
Oh,
Looks like again we lost.
no, she is putting on. Wow. Mother Teresa is alive.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Such an energetic speech. Really, we enjoyed with your energy. Now, that is the only one tasty Sureka, ma'am. That yummy. Hello? Yeah, yummy snacks. Tough time don't last. We are tough people. Soon we will go back and catch Sureka ma'am snacks. Let's move on to the second segment. That is, let's jump into the burning, boiling, and baffling session. That is table topics. Today, I'm presenting you a inspiring person to run this tabletop. session. He, with astounding news, say, passed VPPR. I asked a tough situation in his college days. He responded, in his first year BCom, he was completely down with typhoid. With zero energy, he is not able to move a little. He decided to skip his exams and he wanted to repeat next year, but with his in the top 3 hands to welcome Toastmaster Ganesh Pai as a table topic master. Over to you, Ganesh.
Thanks, Renu. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
loud and clear.
Yes.
Very clear.
Thank you. Today's meeting is a historic meeting for me. I've been a Toastmaster for close to 4 years now. Today is my first time as the table topic master.
Wow.
Okay, I'll wait for you to applaud. So, table topic session is one where we put our impromptu speaking skills to test. Here we explore how we can be sharp, shrewd, and creative in that 1.5 minutes and ace the topics thrown at by table topic master. And that's how the real world operates. If you see, we don't have all the data points before we take a decision. Still, we have to decide on the spot. Positions have to be taken. So I think table topics is a surefire way to sharpen our critical thinking skills. And to celebrate this historic moment for me, today we will have quotes from some of the history makers as table topics. Quotes, I believe, offer a unique perspective into the mindset of these legends and help us accelerate our growth. Time manager, please note, time for each topic will be 1.5 minutes.
Sure.
So let us begin. The first topic is quote from Bill Gates. Life is not fair, get used to it. Life is not fair, get used to it. The speaker is Toastmaster Kamlesh.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It is very interesting to know that the topic, it is not fair to leave the, can you repeat the topic again?
Life is not fair, get used to it.
Okay. So if you see these days, it's very tough time and whole world is grappling with the situation, how to come out with this tough time. But in this tough time, everyone is used to of it, how to live with it, and even this is a historic moment that everyone is the people are challenging for their digitalization and everything, but they are used to of it. So as the time goes, everyone will be seeing to the things what we are experiencing now. And what he said, Bill Gates, is realized to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Toastmaster Kamlesh. Though you said the topic was not fair, but you did a fair justice to the topic. Thank you so much. Next topic is quote from legendary investor Warren Buffett. Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. I'll repeat. Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. The topic goes to Toastmaster Melvin. Melvin, are you there? Can you unmute his line? Okay, I'll pass the topic to Toastmaster Ajit.
Yeah. Can you repeat the topic?
Sure. Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful.
Okay, so this is a very famous topic quote by Warren Buffett. So I'm from investment banking, and I always remember, I always keep a track on the markets. He's one of the legendary investor, and people look forward for him. So whenever the market tanks, people are very greedy to fish at the bottom, but he always look at the fundamentals of every stock. And if you apply on our life as well, people capitalize on such situations when there is a downturn. Like we do see some companies don't show empathy, and they do a lot of layoffs, and they take this as an opportunity to do all that. But however, in such times, you should never be greedy. In fact, show some kind of an empathy to employees as an organization, and also in a personal life as well. You're with family, try to capitalize such situation, and try to bring the best out of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ajit. I didn't know you were a ace investment banker as well. Good to know this side of you. Yeah. Thanks for your talk. Next topic is quote from Azim Premji. If people are not laughing at your goals are too small. If people are not laughing at your goals are too small. And the speaker is Toastmaster Soumya Raman.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ganesh, for that topic. If people are not laughing at your goals, then your goals are so small. Yes, you need to set goals that are ridiculously, unbelievably high, that people laugh at you. They laugh at you because they think it's a joke. It's something that is unreachable, unbelievable. But if you aim, like what I've always grown up hearing, if you aim for the moon and stars beyond the moon, you're going to reach the moon. So yes, it's something that I would live by, and something that I'm aiming to, and my goals are like ridiculously unbelievable. But I will definitely share it with all of you one day when I achieve them. Thank you, Ganesh. Over to you.
Thanks, Soumya. You're already a prolific achiever. We know you've been part of Guinness World Record. So I think you're too modest. But anyway, thank you so much. Next topic is a quote from Michael Jordan. The quote is, "Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships." I'll repeat, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. And the topic goes to Toastmaster Siraj Rahman.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, all of us possess a lot of talent, but hardly utilize it. So what this quote says is that whatever talent we have, if we can utilize that talent by promoting teamwork, encouraging teamwork, then we can definitely bring out the best in all of us. So Toastmasters is a place where we realize our talent, where we demonstrate our talent, and where we get opportunities where this talent gets further polished. So therefore, when we look at talent, it's not just one ability. It is like a diamond. It has so many facets to our talent. So we need to first realize this, and we need to see how we can harness it. We get a lot of opportunities in our life. We get tough situations. We get education. All these opportunities which we get, they help us to understand ourselves, and we need to utilize these opportunities and bring out the best. So this is also related to teamwork. If we are leading people, if we are having a group of people, it becomes our responsibility to help them understand their talent. Can we become a builder of talent? We need to look at talent in people, and we need to help them fully utilize their talent and make the best use of those talents, because every individual has dreams. In order to realize this dream, we need to look at our talent and also the talent which is there within our team. So thereby, we can achieve success for ourselves and also for the team members. So talent and team are related. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Coming from a seasoned HR professional, your talk was nothing short of pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ganesh.
Next topic is a quote from famous FBI hostage negotiator Christopher Voss. The quote is, "The most dangerous negotiation is the one you don't know you're in." The most dangerous negotiation is the one you don't know you're in. And the topic goes to Toastmaster Aaron Kamath.
Hi everyone, thank you for the topic, Toastmaster Ganesh. Often we find ourselves in the midst of a Tuesday afternoon, and we're blind by. We don't know that a few years later that idea was critical and had a very important part in how our lives turned out. So when I listened to a podcast once, it said that you shouldn't spend more than 5 minutes on a decision or on a choice that doesn't have any impact on your life 5 years from now. In fact, the most important things just come by in the most unpredictable circumstances. So sometimes you don't know what may be critical, what is something you need to negotiate with yourself about, or have a discussion with a family member about, or an important decision that you need to take in your life. These are not common topics of whether to pursue a relationship or whether to do a higher studies or things like that. It could be things about, say, joining the Toastmasters club. It could be things like taking up a sport or hobby, which may not be as widely published as getting another degree or something like that, but may be important in overall molding your life and your physical activity, which also has an impact on your mental being. So these are small decisions that we're faced with on a day-to-day basis, which we're often blindsided with, and sometimes we need to pause ourselves for a bit and think about them, negotiate them, and then take conscious decisions about them down the line. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. You seem to be a tough negotiator and decisive at the same time. Thank you so much. Next quote is from legendary entrepreneur Elon Musk. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. The topic goes to Toastmaster Jalib.
Hello, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So, could you please repeat the topic?
Yeah, I could either watch it happen or be a part of it.
Yeah, by this I remember my team where I'm working in inside sales, wherein I have to take a decision whether to be a part in a new team to achieve the goals, or just be at the old team with the old team, wherein I can adjust with the same targets. So if I need achieve a next level, I have to be a part with the other team. So this remind me situation wherein I took the decision to be in the team, wherein with the greater challenges and achievement as well. So thank you. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thanks, Jalib. I wish you achieve all your goals next year, notwithstanding COVID implications.
Sure.
Okay. So next quote is from one more legendary investor, Peter Lynch, who headed Fidelity Investments. The quote goes like this: "Invest in businesses any idiot can run, because one day an idiot will. Invest in businesses any idiot can run, because one day an idiot will." And the topic goes to Toastmaster Vijay Kalkundri. Vijay, you're there?
Vijay, you're on mute.
Yeah, okay. So, Mr. Toastmaster Pai and fellow Toastmaster on Zoom call, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so businesses are run by people who are idiots of a different level. Say they're not a normal, they're not normal guys. So if we have people who are insanely idiot, like say they cannot be a normal person. Like that's when they serve the very turbulent times. So there are these instances. If we see like the example of Elon Musk, what was quoted in the previous quote. So I remember how crazy he was. Like, so the world may call him a idiot because like he did his first online internet company, a PayPal, and he sold it. He got a huge hundreds of $1 million. And what would you or anyone else would have done? Take that money, invest somewhere, get some returns, and then take your life forward. But what that guy did that time was he brought a costliest vehicle which was there in the market, and he just wanted to experience that. That was the kind of idiotic things what great people do. So he has redefined that, like, the world may call you an idiot, but all the other people who are going to invest in it, it's actually other way around. You may be an idiot in others' eyes, but the entire world is going to invest in it, and that's where the innovation comes from. So I completely concur with the topic. The world may look you as an idiot because you have taken a different path, which is not a normal route. But over a period of time, the businesses are going to be successful with such idiots. Back to the table, Master. Bye.
Thanks, Vijay. I must say the topic was tough, and you personified when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So next quote is from legendary tennis player Andre Agassi. The quote is, if you don't practice, you don't deserve to win. If you don't practice, you don't deserve to win. And the topic goes to Toastmaster Srijit.
Who? Srijit. Huh?
Srijit, you only Srijit.
Oh. Yes, practice makes perfect. And if you have to win, you have to practice. And I really learned it during my last speech. Actually, I didn't prepare much, and I didn't perform it how much I wanted to be, and I felt really bad. So what I can do, I started for my next speech. I started practicing, I preparing and start practicing. So if you want to win, you have to practice. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Srijit. We know for sure how much practice you would have put for completing the Mumbai Marathon. Thank you. Next topic is, they say marriages are made in heaven, but so is thunder and lightning. They say marriages are made in heaven, but so is thunder and lightning. This is a quote from Clint Eastwood, and the topic goes to Toastmaster Shaji. I'm audible. Hello? Slightly feeble, Shaji. If you could raise your voice a couple of notches.
Okay. The topic is very good, and immediately thank you, Ganesh, for raising my voice. So this is very apt in the place where God is there, and your wife is there, and obviously thunder and lightning are there. See, for those all married men and women and those unmarried people, it is a lot of fun to be in the heaven where the marriages are made. But at the same time, you just cannot ignore the thunder and storm over there. The same, like, you cannot let go the roses for its thorns. So every good thing comes with some kind of a disclaimer. So this disclaimer applicable for marriage also. For all those people who are unmarried, don't go away. This is part and parcel and fun and thrill of the married life. Go get it. Thank you.
Thanks, Toastmaster Shaji. The kind of wisdom you have on married life, you should one day think of writing a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Married People. The bestseller. Okay. Next topic is, it takes guts to get out of the ruts. It takes guts to get out of the ruts. This is a quote from Robert Schuller, and the topic goes to Toastmaster Manish Paul.
Hello.
Hi, Manish. Yeah, you can.
Can you just repeat the topic?
It takes guts to get out of the ruts.
Okay. So I quit my job last year in May. So I've been like part of the lockdown for more than at home for more than like 8 months. So the reason why I quit was I wanted to take a leap of faith and try some, online passive income or online businesses. And it took me almost 7 months to match my salary. And it happened only during the COVID situation. So it's kind of ironical that, that once you take that leap of faith and you believe in what you're doing is only when you'll realize that after some time. So it's not only taking the leap of faith, but it's also patience and perseverance and hopefully everyone also takes the leap of faith and becomes uh, uh, yeah. Thanks, Toastmaster.
Thanks, Manish. Thanks for sharing your personal story on this topic. Thank you so much. Next quote is from Albert Einstein. The quote goes like this: "The difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits." The difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits. And the topic goes to Toastmaster Bosco.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening,
Good evening, sir.
The difference between, I didn't get you fully, so stupidity and genius, is it?
Yeah. The difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits.
Oh, yes. I fully agree with the statement because a genius is a person who is on a different plane, somebody who has better thinking capabilities and better action in terms of whatever activity he or she is involved in. Whilst a person whom we would call stupid is a person who does not know where he is going, what are his limits and what are his capabilities, and more often than not, he or she will fall very fast. A genius is a person who could sometimes wait, listen, understand, accept, and then take action. A stupid person may not. It's like walking across a road which has got full of water after the rains. A genius is one who will check whether it is deep or not. A person who's stupid will just walk across and probably fall into the ditch which is there. So the difference lies between the way we look at things, the way we think, and the way we act. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you so much, sir. This was one genius view from one genius quote. Thank you so much. With that, we come to the end of table topic session. This was my debut attempt, and I thoroughly enjoyed being amongst you all today. Thank you so much. I hand it over back to Toastmaster. Thank you.
Give it for Toastmaster Ganesh Bhai for such a wonderful and fabulous session. Thank you so much, Ganesh Bhai, for such a sterling and captivating topics. You invited all those tough people to our meeting with their tough quotes. Thank you so much once again. Now, let's jump into the final segment of our today's meeting, that is evaluation session. Now, Tosha. Pradeep?
Renu, we lost you.
Pradeep,
sir, you begin, sir.
I shall begin?
Yeah,
yes.
Take over.
Okay. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Really wonderful to be here. I think I saw the count was something like 50. And I also see a lot of old timers here like Toastmaster Bosco Siraj, and most importantly, Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. You know, I think when I joined Toastmasters 20 years back, he was a very senior guy then. So it's really wonderful to see all of you. And let me begin with the general evaluation session. The meeting started at 6:27. I think on my watch it was 6:27. It was 3 minutes early. I'm not sure why we started 3 minutes early. Probably we should have waited for another 3 minutes. It was the meeting was kick-started by the Sergeant Shreyas Johan. An energetic start. I like. Can I see the sergeant? It's so difficult to see also because so many people are around. So. Is the sergeant there? Not sure.
Okay, Shreyas, I guess you're there and you can see me. I'm sort of talking to you. So I think I like the way you started the meeting today. You started with asking people to sort of switch off or put their systems in mute rather than actually phones in mute. That was nice. And the way you spoke about what teachers tell today about, typically teachers told us to keep quiet. Now we ask people to keep systems in mute. And you came up with a poem. It was a nice poem. I congratulate you on writing this poem, but I think it was a little long and it was also not very clear because of the connection. So it would have been good if you had sort of kept it short and kept some couple of words. I think a couple of lines. I think it would have been good. I heard the last part that you are a champion, so that I think that was a nice way to end your the poetry. If you had kept it a little short, I would think it would have been nice. It would have just spoken about the theme and kept it shorter about the theme. An introduction would have been nice. And then you introduced the president. I thought the introduction of the president was not sufficient. I thought it should have been a little more motivating, something about the president. I think you just said engineer and a Toastmaster, something to that extent. It should have been a nice thing, you could have taken something about the code and introduced the president. Otherwise, I think, I know it's a challenge for all of us. We are coping up with this whole internet system and trying to work on this. And I think that we'll overcome this and we'll become sort of used to this over a period of time. So otherwise, I think it was an energetic start. So let's hear it for our sergeant. Next came in our President Deepika Das. Yes, madam, I can see you. So that's nice. It was a nice, you nicely acknowledged the sergeant, and it was great to see an online induction. It was fantastic. I rather see this seldom these days. I don't know why. Most clubs have forgotten about this, and I really like that to see that this practice is so alive here. And I think the way you did it was very nice. You covered it very nicely. It was very clinical. It was warm and it was encouraging. So great job on the induction of the new member. And then you asked Toastmasters Rahil to read out the minutes, the secretary. That was read out well and it was passed. It was done very well. Very nicely, you welcome the guests. I know there are a lot of guests, but you call out the name of the guests rather than ask guests to talk, because I think that would have taken a lot of time. I think that was apt what you did. You spoke about and welcome the guests, made everybody comfortable. And next you went on to your presidential address. It was, I think, a nice address. How many times you spoke about your bad times, and you spoke about when things were bad, how your mom told you about times are tough, but so you are. I think that was very powerful. Single line quote, and you sort of related, also you gave experiences of Toastmasters, examples of Toastmasters, how we go through tough times and harsh evaluations and overcome that. You gave actual examples. I think that was also done very well. And the introduction of the Toastmaster was also done very well. I like the thing of husband of one and father of two. So I think overall, very good online induction, welcoming the guests, a nice short presidential address and introduction of the Toastmasters. So if you were to ask me, and as Toastmasters, when people are good, we want them to become better. So if you ask me, one area which probably you could look at is that the presidential address itself, if you had weaved it around as a nice anecdote rather than one statement from your mom, a little bit bringing in all those emotions and voice modulation, what we always learn in Toastmaster, I think that could have been a good presidential address, could have become much better than a great presidential address. That's a minor thing, but that's something for which we like good speakers to become better and better. So great job, and let's hear it for our president. I know I can't hear, but at least I can see most of you clapping. Come on, making heard as well. So then comes and I also liked the president saying that the Toastmaster was doing this for the first time. That was nice. That I know as well that the Toastmaster is doing this for the first time. Srinu Babu, I think great attempt. Nice. It's first time doing it and first time online is not easy. It's really, really difficult. And especially when there are a lot of guests and there are like 50 people, it's a tough time. And I think you had connection problems. So that's even more challenging. I think it works on your mind when connection is not so good. But I think you came very well prepared and went through the role very well for a first time. I think you did a great job. You spoke about the global lockdown to a personal lockdown, and then you went on to, you gave a short story about a teenage boy. I think you could have kept that story a little short. That's something which I always tell Toastmasters, that my test would be that if the president spoke for 2 minutes on the presidential address, then I would speak for 1 minute. If the president speak for 3 minutes, I would probably keep it for 1.5 minutes. Because probably it's not good to see. It shouldn't be like another presidential address. Should be like another address. It should be just talking something about the theme and just getting to move. Because as the Toastmaster, it's a beautiful. A meeting is a beautiful garland of roses, and the Toastmaster is a thread which binds them. So you actually don't even see the Toastmaster. So that's what is my little suggestion there. You spoke about Ralph C. Smedley, and you spoke about the structure. I think all of that was done very well. And then it's about the introduction of those different speakers. I think that's an area which you can work on. And I know this you're doing for the first time. For the first time, I think you really did a good job. But typically, the way we say is that why the speaker, why today, why this topic, why this audience? I know you can't cover all of them, but it would be good to understand what the speaker is speaking about and then talk something in connection with that. Yeah, you did something about the theme. That was nice. Connecting with the theme and the questions you asked the speaker. That was nice. So otherwise, it would be good to just tell why the speaker is speaking on the subject. So something on that would be good. And always end with the speaker's name and say the topic before. So you say next speaker is Dolly, and her title is this. No. So if it is a physical meeting, the speaker has already walked up. So you should tell the title of the speech, and then last should be the name of the speaker. So the speaker just walks in. So that's a minor thing. I liked my introduction. So only thing is that I was not district. I was a division champion, not the district champion. There was a minor correction. Other than that, I think for a first time, you did a wonderful job. I'd like to hear a thunderous round of applause for our Toastmaster. Now I go on to introduce the speakers. Today we had a lot of speakers. The first speaker was Dolly Juliet Pereira, doing project 2 on talking about the primary leadership style, and the evaluator was Alok Sima. I ask Alok for his feedback.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Dolly Killer. So congratulations, Dolly, for starting off with Level 2 and Project 1. This was your Level 2 and Project 1 on leadership styles. And the best part about it was that I really felt you started off with the speech right away. So we knew overall what to expect. So the context was set right at the beginning. I would focus more on the content here, of course, because this being an online medium, the delivery was mostly voice-based. And as far as the content was concerned, there was a good structure to it. You started off with the quote and who said it, and also substantiated with an example that we could connect with. So that was really well done. And throughout, the structure remained pretty uniform, which meant that we already could preempt what you were going to speak and could relate to it. That was really nicely done. And the personalities that you chose, for the most part, Obama, Nelson Mandela, and Mr. Narayan Murthy, all of them really credible in their own fields as leaders and as individuals. And when you quote them, we are all engaged right away. We are attentive to what you're saying. And when you connect them to our incidents in our daily life, it makes it very relatable and also lends a lot of credibility. So that way, in terms of the content that you chose and the examples and also the personalities that you chose, I really felt that was very neatly done and well done. Congratulations on that. Like I said earlier, as far as the delivery is concerned, it was mostly voice-based, and I really felt there was good voice modulation to keep us engaged throughout. And for someone who is listening on audio, it was clear, audible, and just at the right pace for a speech. So congratulations on that as well. Now, if I were to look at a couple of areas where you could probably improve and take your speech to the next level, you started off with a question, but I'm not sure if that is the right way to start off in this particular medium, because if you ask a question, we cannot probably respond. Maybe what you could do is like Guru did in one of the latest speeches, start off with a poem to engage our attention and then take it on from there. That's a suggestion. And the examples I really felt were well constructed for both Obama and Nelson Mandela. But then when it came to the quote from Mr. Narayan Murthy and the way you structured that example, maybe the example could be slightly elaborate or equal to the kind of quality you brought in with the other two examples. And with the three personalities that you had there, with Obama, Mandela, and Narayan Murthy, I could not really place Manish when you quoted the fourth one, because the other three personalities bring with them a lot of credibility. But when you said Manish, okay, so I found it a little difficult to place Manish with the other three. And there was also a small portion where you talked about your parents, but I could not place it within the context of the entire speech. Please correct me if I'm wrong there, but I could not place it within the entire context of your speech. And considering that you took 6.56 minutes and there was a little bit of a hurried example towards the end, could you have reduced the number of quotes and the examples to 3? So this is an area where you might want to think about. All in all, I really felt it was a very apt speech for the topic that we had. And I particularly liked the way you summarized the speech towards the end. So if I had not listened to the first 5 minutes of your speech, I still could get the entire gist of your speech in the last 30 seconds or so. So congratulations. I look forward to your next speech as well. Back to you, G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alok. I like several of your points which you brought up, and I also noted it down, especially about Manish. Was not sort of, in the beginning, I couldn't really notice that Manish was there. And bringing the parents example, I think, was also not so relevant. So, and as the evaluator, a couple of things which I would say is, one is that typically you speak for yourself. You don't say we heard, we know, or we felt. That's something, not that you used it in many places, but somewhere a couple of places you used that. And as the opening, I would say it's a rhetorical question, and a rhetorical question is that even in a face-to-face meeting, we're not really looking at response. We're just making people think and then moving ahead. So I think starting with a question is always very powerful, rather than a poetry or anything. So question is very powerful. It sort of makes you think. So that's fine. But so that's the only thing which I could say for the evaluator. I'd just like to add to the speaker to make this much more better is that the area probably is about, rather than bringing in the personalities like Obama or Nelson Mandela, it's because we're really talking about, or you're talking about the 4 aspects. So I think that should be said first. And then as the evaluator also mentioned, you reiterated that. That is very nice thing. So if you say 4 aspects, even if you use an acronym, for example, is something which people can remember. So it's really not about remembering the great personalities, but it's remembering the leadership styles. So I think that should be driven more powerfully than really talking about the great personalities and the transitions, because the transitions, I think, were very weak between between different teams or different leadership styles. But other than that, I would say that it was a lot of research taking these leadership styles from different great personalities. Good stuff there on actually something for all of us to take home. So in terms of content, I think a lot of good stuff was there in your speech, Dolly. Only thing is about a little bit of structuring, a little bit of transition. And as all the gurus say, They say that tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them. So that structuring part, if you keep in mind, I think your leadership speech, which was a good speech, could have been much better. So can we hear it for the speaker and the evaluator? So go on to the next speaker. The next speaker was Mahesh Shankar, talking about a desire, a dream, a vision, evaluated by Abhay Kothari. Could I ask Toastmaster Abhay for his feedback?
Good evening, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and a special good evening to our fitness champ, Mahesh. For someone like me who is a bit lazy to wake up in the morning and do something about my own fitness, your speech was an absolute revelation. So I want to really thank you for that. Your aim today was to inform and inspire all of us to take up fitness seriously. And did that happen? In my view, definitely yes. So what made me believe in your speech? I think your own belief in the topic, the way you were engaged while speaking, I saw a little sparkle in your eyes, and your smile showed me how deeply the connect you had with the topic. And this connect with the topic has really enabled you to do so much research and present your findings to us. The best part was how you connected with the members in this group and linked the data of ACSM to the results of the survey. That was absolutely fantastic. You were aptly dressed for the occasion in a well-lit environment. You quoted all your sources, gave us the benefits of a fit body, cited loads of personal examples, and also stated why fitness is so important to you and to all of us. And this is exactly the point which I would like to bring to your attention. Start with the why. Then connect to the how and the what. I mean, to the how and the what exactly. So why do you begin with why? I think that when you start with why, it makes people believe in your cause. When you look at the speeches that you really liked and connected with, it is because the speaker let us into his cause and told us why. And this will also help you set the context, because in your speech, I felt that you started with a quote that you really connected with and then straight away went on to bodybuilding.com. I think it took me a little bit to catch on. And this is the point that I really like to bring to your attention to. The other point that I'd really like to suggest is to challenge yourself to find the right balance of data that you can present your findings with. So Alok has really explained a little bit, and so has the general evaluator before. So I think that you could try to experiment with the amount of data you use to present your findings and the amount of data that you really put in the slide. So this really is a experimental thing, and I'd want to challenge you to really figure that out. And with your desire, dream, vision, and the will to become a better speaker, Toastmaster Mahesh, I'm sure you will go places. All the best. Over to you, GE.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhay. That was a very elaborate and detailed evaluation. I tend to agree with most of the points, all the points actually, what you mentioned. And Toastmaster Mahesh, I think it was a nice speech. I enjoyed it. So there are some areas which couple of things which I like to say. In the beginning, the first PPT, I thought that little bit slant was a little difficult to read. There was too much of content in that. Typically, it would be good to have 50% of white space. I like the slide where it was all those icons were there. I think that was really nice. And what I really liked, one thing about your speaking style is the pace with which you speak. And they say one of the most powerful things about the speaking is about one is eye contact, the other is the pace at which we can speak. And typically as Indians, we speak very fast. So I think that's something which I really liked, which you can really leverage on. I also thought the end was a little abrupt. So that's something which you could look at. Otherwise, I really enjoyed it, and it made me feel that I should start also working out more. So let's hear it for the nice speech and for the good evaluation for the speaker Mahesh and the evaluator Abhay. Next, I go on to now another speech. Project 7 is about researching, presented by Toastmaster Guru Prasad, and evaluator is Sudipto Gosh. So could I ask Toastmaster Sudipto for his feedback?
But one handful is never enough. To resist eating more is rather tough. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and our Cashew King, Guru in particular. Guru, what a delicious speech. Indeed, your topic selection was a mouth-watering one. And the simplicity of the topic selection made the entire audience really relate to that. You had a wonderful opening when you started off with this poem by Ross Riddle about cashews, which pretty much said everything about cashews you want to hear. And with that, you actually got the entire audience's focus on you. Then you went on to accost us with a lot of facts, figures, and images about cashews. You gave data about the cultivation in our states, in the exports of different countries. Then you also cited both the medicinal benefits of cashew. I like the finny part as well, and some of the different foods from which cashew you can make out of cashew, and some of your very favorite ones. So this clearly enunciated the amount of research which went into your speech, and I would say with that you satisfied the basic objectives of the speech. So what could have been done to make the speech or take the speech to the next level? So in my humble opinion, I will just point out just a couple of things. Firstly, you had a lot of facts and which you presented with your PowerPoint presentation as well. One thing I thought personally that you could have presented some of the facts a little bit differently. I mean, just a simple change, like you mentioned about how cashews is very good for building your immunity, and you were suggesting all of us go and have cashews in this season and all that, which is good. But for the message to be really impactful, you could have just made it more personal. Okay, I'm having cashews for the last 6 months, 1 year to build up my immunity. Have you built yours? Or you can build yours like that. So that's point number one. The second one, which I want to point out, is in your conclusion and summary. I thought you had a lot of things in your conclusion which was actually not even part of your main presentation, and then it was a bit too long, right? So for the conclusion to really reverberate with the folks with something for us to take away, maybe you could have restricted your conclusions to maximum 3 points, right? And that would have made it even more impactful. That's it, Guru. Congratulations. And I really look forward to more appetizing speeches from you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sudipto. I like the way you said delicious speech. Yeah, it was indeed delicious. And I sort of agreed to most part, but there are certain areas which I slightly differ. And that's what I would like to tell Toastmaster Guru. I think one of the things is about research is somewhere I thought first of all, let me tell you the initial slides, I loved it. It was really mouth-watering, and also the information I got that this started in Brazil and it came to India, that was good. That was more research stuff. So in terms of research, I think for this we have to probably it would be good to focus on one aspect. It could be like talking about history, or talking about business, or talking about health, or you could say, or you can just say 3 things. I would like to talk about the history of cashew. I'd like to talk about the business. I'll talk to health. Otherwise, it would become like a management report about everything about cashew, everything about cashews. So I think that was like an overload of information. Certain slides were also too much of details. Like the one way to challenge us as Toastmasters is to do this presentation or the speech without the PowerPoint. So if you have to say that calories, this is the thing, how do we bring in similes? The calories by cashew, by eating a handful of cashews is equivalent to eating 5 eggs, something like that. That's how we bring those images. That's how we make that. That's how one can have retention of the ideas in the minds of the audience, and not so. So the way I would challenge you is to. I think as an evaluator has already said that you've met all the requirements of the speech, but the way I would challenge you is to, if you can take away the PowerPoint presentation and try to do this, not as a repetition, because I don't think we ask people to repeat speeches, but just for you to learn how would you do this without the PowerPoint presentation. Then I think it would be a fantastic learning and something which you will, as a Toastmaster, gain a lot from that exercise. So otherwise, for me, it was a lot of info about cashews, the boiling, how it is boiled or it's burnt, where it started off, and a lot of information. I feel like going and buying cashews and eating it. So thank you for that nice speech about cashews. Please think about the feedback I gave, which you can work on for your self-improvement. So let's hear it for the Toastmaster and for the evaluator. Then we go into the last speech for the day, Project 4 from the advanced manual, where it's about presenting an award by Toastmaster Rita Saldana and evaluated by DTM Ashish Verghese. Can I ask DTM Verghese for his feedback? Have we lost him? Is he there?
Ashish, we can't hear you.
He's unmute actually.
Yeah, he's unmuted. We can see him. No, Ashish, still can't hear you.
Yes, yes.
Ashish? Now you are.
Okay, I'll start here. The timer, if you may start again. Okay, trap in his own trap. You don't need anyone or anything to approve of your work. But basically, as a social human being, we do need validation sometime or the another. A successful person might not need in a mindfulness way, but as a society, we need to validate others so that we create an example, a model that can be replicated among others. And that's what giving up prizes or appreciation or awards are supposed to do. General evaluator, our speaker, Rita in particular. Rita, you did a wonderful job in presenting the award to one of the most iconic person of this century, of the last century. The award which you gave away was the Nobel Peace Prize, and you set up the context of how the awards came into Nobel Peace Prize award came into being, with being set up in 1895 and being the first awards of 5 being in chemistry, literature, peace, physics, and medicine being given away in 1901, and how 1979 Nobel Peace Prize is being given to Mother Teresa and why she deserves it. You brought in the emotions from your side, the word you say that you had, the voice modulation, the body language and the hand movement, the facial gestures, everything told us that yes, you are really happy that Mother Teresa is getting this award and you are happy to give away this award. And most importantly, one aspect that I loved about your speech was you stood up and you gave your speech while standing and getting that thing done, just like the regular speech that you give in a stage. So that's something all of the speakers can learn from by adjusting their camera and the speaker and the mic and to make a proper speech like the way you do it in a club. When you speak of all the good things that you have been doing, one thing that definitely the technology-driven drawback that I felt was your angle of camera. As the camera was looking up from the bottom side, so most of the time when you were looking down, you were looking straight onto the wall or the other side. So your face, the eye contact was not there with us. So whenever the eye contact is not there with the speakers, that's when you start losing the attention of the speakers. So a piece of advice here is next time you give a speech or any attempt, try to adjust the camera in such a way that your camera is in front of you so you can make most of the attempt. But of all things that have said, well and done, your speech had all the impacts that were supposed to be given. You were not a star, but you made the person receiving the speech the star of the message. You were sincere in your approach, whatever you tried to do. And most best thing, other than the standing up and giving the speech, the one of the best thing that you enacted giving away the prize at the end of the day by having the lady dressed up like Mother Teresa, and you had the medal and the trophy, the certificate ready. It was good that you were able to enact it again in midst of all the technical difficulties that we had, and we loved the way you did it. I loved the way you did it at the end. So that was one of the highlight of the speech, and something that I would love to take away to enact and do it in other speeches that I personally will do. So overall, with your good sound modulation, hand movement, body gestures, and the best how to use the words and languages and the history that you researched and spoke about, along with a little bit of camera movement and angle adjustment, you did a wonderful job, and hope to see much more better speeches in the future. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, DTM Ashish. I think that was a very, very elaborate evaluation. I think you covered most aspect of it. I would really congratulate Toastmaster Rita for, yes, as the evaluator said, to stand up and speak. And I think getting used to the camera positioning is something which we have to do over a period of time, because we're all getting used to it. So I think that's really not a big issue as far as I'm concerned. I like the good modulation on the voice, a very well scripted speech, and so this is just presenting an award, and I think it was done very well. I'm not sure, but it's difficult for me to comment whether, because it's not face to face, whether that sort of excitement and joy was there, because there was a lot of voice modulation. That may be a thing, but probably so. I may be wrong to say it's not there, but because of the camera and things like that. So in a face-to-face meeting, probably I could have been a little critical and give you some feedback on that. Other than that, I think you did a great job. But what I really liked the most was getting somebody there like a Mother Teresa in the end and doing that. That was the icing of the cake. That was fantastic. So let's hear it for the evaluator and the speaker. Now I move on to the table topic master, Toastmaster Ganesh Bhai, and you also mentioned that you're doing it for the first time and yes, online. Yeah, that's fantastic. Lovely topics. Life is not fair, get used to it, and from all the great guys from Be Fearful, this is from Be Fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are, from Warren Buffett. From all the great people, I think good topics, and I also thought you selected people appropriately, because the timer would tell us that probably, according to me, I think everybody spoke for the required time limit. So that's something, a clear indication of that people could speak well. Topics were not so easy ones, I would say, that everybody could, but they were nice, appropriate ones, and they spoke well. And I like those small little remarks between those the speeches as well. I think it was a wonderful job done. So let's hear it for Table Topic Master Ganesh Bhai. Okay, so before I go to the tag team, I would ask all of you to do the voting for the best speaker, the best evaluator. The voting code, I was told, is 1004. Yeah, I think you have it on your chat box from the president, the voting code. So was that done? Toastmaster, yeah, good. Okay, now I would call in my team of assignees. The first is the timer, Maitresh.
Yeah.
You can pronounce it right, I hope so.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. Most of them were on time, but except Mahesh and Guru, Rita weren't on time. And in table topics, everyone were on time. While in evaluation, everyone on time. That's it.
Oh, great. So yeah, so fantastic. Thank you. Account Toastmaster Rajesh.
Hello, everybody. I'm a AU counter. So my observations are like Shinu use but 7 times and 5 times and couple of whereas Dolly uses pauses couple of times. Mahesh used right couple of times. Guru Prasad used 10 times and a few pauses. Ajit uses 5 times. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. We hear the report from Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza, Grammarian. Have we lost him or is there? Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza, are you there? Have we lost him?
I think he's not there.
I think he's dropped off. Yes.
He's dropped off?
Yeah,
Oh.
he messaged saying his network was going on and off.
Oh, okay. Fine, I think so. We'll sort of drop that, and then we had listener, Oren Kamath, Toastmaster.
Hi everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're a little short on time, so I won't take more than a minute or so. I've recorded a few statements and phrases that I hope you can answer on who said them. Okay, I'll start with who said she would say sometimes are tough, darling, and so are you.
Rita.
No.
Rita.
No.
Deepika
I'll
said
repeat.
it referring
Yes.
to Rita Das.
Yes. That's right. Who quoted Nelson Mandela?
Dolly Pereira.
Dolly.
That's right. Who said that a genius is someone on a different plane? A genius is
Toastmaster
someone on a different
Bosco sir.
plane.
Bosco.
That's right. That's right. Bosco sir said that. Okay, this is interesting. This is a double question. So you have to tell me both people. Who saw a sparkle in whose eyes today?
I saw it in Toastmaster
In
Mahesh's
Mahesh's
eyes.
eyes.
Yes. Sorry,
That
there were
shouldn't be
multiple
public.
answers. Does someone want to go again? There were multiple answers. Deepika?
I said Abhay saw it in Mahesh's eyes.
Abhay saw it on Mahesh's eyes. That's right. Okay. Who said, as Indians, we generally speak very fast?
Pradeep.
G. The general
Pradeep.
evaluator.
That's right. The general evaluator. Who said, I have an emotional bond with these cashew nuts?
Guru.
That's right. And I think I'll take the last one, which is, who said, after waking up, having green tea wakens your mind and gets you-
Mahesh.
That's right. Okay. Looks like you're all very attentive. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you. That was great. So it looks like online we're better listeners. Or I don't know if this is what is the normal case in your club. So Toastmasters, I think we have sort of run out of time. Overall, I must say that it was a very good meeting, starting from the Sergeant, the presidential address, all the speeches today, and all those who spoke at the table topic spoke really, really very well, and all the evaluations as well. I'm so happy to be here today with this meeting, and I hand back to the Toastmaster, Srinu Babu. Back to you.
Give it for our GE, Pradeep Kumar and team. Thank you, Pradeep, for such a delicious food for our champions. It's time to implement such a detailed feedback. Now, without further ado, let's hand over the stage to our President, Deepika Das. Thank you for this opportunity, BMTC.
Thank you so much, Renu. All of us, can we give a big round of applause to our TOD and all the role takers for today? I know it's not easy sitting through an online meeting for so long, especially when we have no human contact with anybody around us. So I won't waste time. Let's quickly get into the awards for today. The best role taker goes to our GE Toastmaster Pradeep Kumar. So can we give him a big round of applause? And sir, at this point, I'd like to say thank you for taking up this role. We've seen you at our club before, but today you took up the role of a GE and you were absolutely phenomenal. Please come back again and grace us with your wisdom and experience. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
The best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Abhay Kotari.
Thank you.
Best table topic speaker goes to Vijay Kalkundri. And the best speaker of the evening goes to Toastmaster Rita Das. With that, we come to the end of meeting 1209. I wish all of you a lovely evening. Have a lovely week ahead. A very happy Easter to all those celebrating on Sunday. And remember, life is tough, but so are you. Good night and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, Pradeep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Night.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.